And we are live at 9 with James Phillips this morning. It's a Friday morning, and it's a special start time because we have a very special guest this morning. It's Caitlin Mae. Caitlin Mae, all the way, like you traveled here this morning all the way from Wales, right?
By way of Nashville.
Right. She's a recording artist who now lives in Nashville. Originally, did you say South Wales?
Yes.
Originally from South Wales, and had a dream as a child to be a country music star, even though she really wasn't exposed to country music in the UK. So tell everybody a little bit about that experience.
Yes. So when I was 2 years old, my parents bought a vacation home in Florida, and that is where I was originally exposed to country music, and for years not even thinking to ask, what is this music called? Because when we go back home to Wales, we don't hear it. So I would go like 11 months without hearing it and have to go back to Florida to hear it again. So eventually I got old enough to start asking those questions and found out it had a name, and that name was country music. And I wanted to call country music my story.
Right. Wow. And I mean, how do you I think you said you were 2 years old. And when did you think, okay, I'm going to sing this? Like, that's quite a jump from just listening to country music as a child to this is what I'm going to do.
My parents say that I was always a singer. And I think even before I could put it into tangible words, or before anybody would really listen to a 2-year-old saying, I want to do country music for the rest of my life.
Right.
I always knew deep down. And I actually said my first word when I was 4 months old, and my parents tell me that I actually spoke in pitches, like as if I was already singing. So I would say dada in low tones, high tones, mid tones, everything in between, and they knew then that this girl's gonna sing.
Yeah. And when did you start performing? I mean, I think before we went on the air, you were telling me that you always remember performing somewhere.
Yes, and actually the United States was a huge part of my development in that vein, because even before I was playing on stages in the UK, we would go to Florida and I would play at like every single diner we visited. Not that I was booked to play a show, but people are very, very encouraging of the arts in the US. And I would often be singing, even when nobody asked me to sing. And my parents would say, you know, she wants to do music. And then people who worked at these different places, different venues, different diners would say, well, if you want to sing, you should sing. You have an audience here built in, so go ahead and sing. So I would stand up in the booth and I would sing for the restaurant. And then I would go back to those places every year that we would return to Florida, and I would play there again. And it really felt like a community and a family long before I had a musical family in the UK itself. And then I actually started training in musical theatre around maybe 7 or 8 years old in the UK. And I went to stage school for years and took time off from that to 100% dedicate myself to country music when I was 13. And I haven't looked back since then.
Wow. And how long have you been recording professionally now?
My first single came out when I was 16, and I think I recorded it when I was 15. So, and I actually got the opportunity to play with Carrie Underwood when I was 16, and she was the first person to receive a CD with that song on it before it released digitally. So she got to hear my first single before anyone else, and it was called The Dream. And my listeners, the dreamers, were born after that single was released.
Yeah.
And she has a song called Just a Dream. So I wrote on the CD it would be just a dream if you listened to my single, or my debut single.
Yeah.
And that was a night to remember, one I will truly never forget. And she was so kind, and it was incredible to play alongside her. And it was her first time in Wales. So
Oh,
it was
wow.
a really special moment.
Yeah, that is really cool. You moved to Nashville, almost 2 years ago now, or
Yes, it'll be officially 2 years in January.
and that was a dream as well. Like you said that you had always dreamed, like your idea was to always be in Nashville. And so, what does that feel like to be there now?
I seriously pinch myself every single morning. I get to wake up and I'm still there. I'm almost shocked that it's not a dream, because for so long it was the kind of thing that I would wake up from in the morning, and I would be back home in Wales still wishing that I was in Nashville. And now I get to call that my reality, and I'm just blessed.
And so, you're living a dream, basically, right?
I am living a dream.
Yeah.
Truly, truly am. And I say this all the time. I could not have done any of this without my dreamers, because they really did believe in me before there was anything tangible to hold on to or to follow. And they came to shows back in the UK, and then I started traveling to Nashville, and a lot of dreamers in the States would drive hours and hours and hours to come to shows in Nashville before I officially made the move. And that meant more to me than they could possibly know, and they aided to no end in me receiving my visa.
Right, right. And you're in Jasper for a couple different reasons. Today, you'll be leaving the studio and heading to Jasper High School to perform for Jasper High School students and Jasper Junior High School students. You'll have a big crowd there for sure. And then tomorrow, you're going to be in Oakman at the formerly Old York, USA. Now it's known as Oakvine Village for the Days Gap Festival that the town of Oakman puts on. And we'll be performing there. That's cool to have an artist from Nashville here. And I know today with the kids, you also were going to talk about some issues that you had as a child, especially about bullying. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, that is really, really important to me, and something I hold so near and dear to my heart, because when I was in high school, I was really badly bullied, and it all stemmed from being different. And I think that is typically where it stems from, because something being different, or somebody being something we've never experienced before, can be scary. And being young means sometimes that develops into lashing out, I think. And we don't always know why. And so I don't like to put all the blame on maybe the person that we would call the bully, because I think it can be hard for everyone and hard on everyone. But I just want to be able to share my experience with people, because high school was such a difficult and trying time for myself and my whole family, because they had to watch me go through it and send me back to school every day knowing I wasn't safe emotionally and I wasn't safe physically. And the school did not help. And so to be able to go to schools that care that much about their students, and they want somebody to come in and talk about bullying and talk about following your dreams and being different and celebrating that and celebrating other people's differences as well, is so, so special to me. And I am beyond excited to visit today with the high school. So
I think that's so cool. And for the students to be able to see somebody who did have such a wild dream as a kid, that this is what I want to do. Like, nobody knew about country music in your area hardly, and you were like, I'm going to be a country music star. And to be able to get to that point that you're at today, whether the bullying was in there or not, that's still such an inspirational story.
thank you so much. And yeah, for me, sharing with people that you having a dream is enough to make that dream come true. Because I was lucky enough to have extremely supportive parents. So when I was going through all the bullying in school, I did have a support system. And other people have a support system in other ways. Maybe home life is not so good, but school is great. Or they have one adult in their life they can confide in, or a sibling, it is important to seek that support where you know you have it.
Right.
And for me, it just happened to be my parents. But I want people to know that whether that is one person who believes in you, or whether you haven't found the person or people who believe in you yet, your dream is enough to make that dream come true.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. So, we're going to take a break in a second to listen to one of your songs. Tell us about this particular song and where it came from, what the inspiration behind it is.
So, this song is my most recent single. It is called Your Truck. It actually came out back maybe 2 weeks ago when I was in Texas for the first time. So that was really exhilarating, and another moment I will never forget, which life seems to be full of those lately.
Right.
And I'm so grateful. But Your Truck was written as a goodbye, because I did not get to say this particular goodbye in person, and the last place that I saw them was in a truck, and so Your Truck was born.
Oh, that's really cool. Well, let's go ahead and listen to Your Truck right now, and then when it's over, we'll be back, and we'll talk a little bit about what the future holds and what's going on for Miss Caitlin Mae. Here is Your Truck by Caitlin Mae.
Heard you're dating her, she's ready to settle down, and I couldn't be what you needed. I'm too busy being jaded, and I know I said a lot, but the words that never left my mouth are the ones I was really feeling. But then you got to leaving. All the late night can you pick me up in your F-150 with the radio way up and moving on. You were done and I was still lost in love. Would it be different if I knew our last conversation would be goodbye, good luck? What if I'm always stuck in that truck, in that truck? Don't you know that smile of yours still lives on in my head? But now you're gone and I'm looking for a reason to let you go with the season. In a year, will I still miss you like I miss you now? God, I hope not, 'cause it's like pouring whiskey on a wound and it kills me. All the late night, can you pick me up in your F-150 with the radio way up and moving on? You were done and I was still lost in love. Would it be different if I knew our last conversation would be goodbye, good luck? What if I'm always stuck in that truck, in that truck, in your truck? You left me in the dust. I can't complain. You knew I couldn't be tamed. You wanted safe. I was a flight risk till you up and flew away. Late night, can you pick me up in your F-150 with the radio way up and moving on? You were done and I was still lost in love. Would it be different if I knew our last conversation would be goodbye, good luck? What
And we are back on Live at 9 this morning. It's actually before 9 this morning because we have a special guest. Caitlin Mae is here. Caitlin is a recording artist living in Nashville, formerly from South Wales. And we were talking earlier about your dream of being a country music star. Now that's a reality, but you're still a dreamer, right?
Absolutely, and I think we should all be a dreamer, and that should never end. There is no end or date that you have to stop dreaming by, and just because you've reached one of those dreams that you've been chasing for so long doesn't mean we won't have new dreams in the future.
Yeah, I've always had a dream since I was young to be a talk show host, and now I get to do that. Like, I've only been doing this for about 6 months or so now, and I'm interviewing country music stars. You know, it's the coolest thing in the world.
That is so incredible.
Yeah. I was in the newspaper industry for about 30 years and did media on that side of things.
Wow.
And have just gotten into radio and being able to do this. So it's really cool to be
Congratulations.
able to, and I love to tell people stories like your story, you know.
Thank you so much.
So what's the next step for you? I know that you recently had some news as far as the Grammys go. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so I actually just became a Recording Academy voting member this year, and then found out that my single house sitting is actually on the first Grammy ballot. So nominations will be announced in November, and I am beyond excited to be a part of this process, and it is really an honor.
Well, I'm so excited that you're here in Walker County to be able to share your gift with everybody. What's the next step for you? What's up next?
Really, it's more recording, music, and touring. So I just recorded 18 new songs in the studio, and those songs will be released throughout 2026. And that is fast approaching.
Right.
I cannot believe how quickly this year has gone by. I haven't really been home to Nashville in a while because I've been doing a lot of traveling. I was in Alabama a little while ago, and then I went to Texas, to LA, to Florida. I'm heading to North Carolina soon, and I love being on the road and getting to meet all the dreamers from all these different places that used to be far out of my reach. I used to be in Wales, 4,000 miles away from Nashville, which
Right.
opened the doors for me to be able to do this.
Well, and we're so glad that your travels have brought you here to Walker County, and like we said earlier, you're going in just a few minutes going to Jasper High School to perform for the students and to talk to them and tell your inspirational story. And then tomorrow you'll be in Oakland at the Days Gap Festival tomorrow afternoon. So everybody go out. That's a free event. It's a free concert. And you will not want to miss. We've got several great artists that's going to be there. Michael Warren out of the Birmingham area is going to be there. Smashley, our local band that plays alternative rock music, they're going to be there. And then Caitlin Mae is going to be there. So it's all types of different music, something for everybody. So
Absolutely. I cannot wait to meet all the new faces and to see the dreamers that I met last time again.
yeah, well, thank you for coming in this morning. It was kind of a rush deal to be able to get you on, but it was great to be able to meet you and hear your story.
It's so good to meet you, and I am so grateful to you for having me on the show. This has been a blast.
Tell us a little bit about House Sitting. We're going to play it as we leave today. So what's House Sitting all about?
House Sitting is a song that would not exist if I hadn't moved from home to Nashville, because it just made me realize how so many of us feel like this place we called home once upon a time no longer is home to us. And it feels like we were just house sitting all that time. And whether that's the breakdown of a romantic relationship or a relationship with parents, siblings, people that have been very close to you for a prolonged period of time, and then you lose that, it just feels like you were a guest or you were a house sitter all along.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you for coming in today. I wish you the best of luck as you travel, and with your music career. We can't wait to see how far you skyrocket in the country music stardom for sure.
Thank you so much. It really means the world to me. I can't wait to come back and see you.
Awesome. Now we're going to go in and we're going to listen to House Sitting. And once House Sitting's done, you'll hear some commercial breaks. And then we'll be back with Live at 9 with our guest, Brandon Pickett, who is a local musician who actually just bowled a 300. So don't want to miss that. Stick around on WJLX, and we'll be right back.
Every road is winding, scared because we stopped fighting. We used to see red, now we see black and white instead. Color is overrated, you said. Then why are the roses dead? My favorite flower was red. The walls are bare in places we used to be. Picture frames shattered are better than empty as glass meets brick. I wish it could have been different in the house we built. Guess I was just house sitting. Hate to be glass half empty, but you've been drinking without me. Used to hold my breath till you came home, but that was before you found a new one. Now the clock ticks for no reason. I knew you through every season. Now all I know is our reruns. The walls are bare in places we used to be. Picture frames shattered are better than empty as glass meets brick. I wish it could have been different in the house we built. Guess I was just house sitting. House sitting. Bricks and mortar, wine to water, water to nothing at all. Showing up to showing off, then walking right at our front door. If only our love could be more than a memory. Picture frames shattered are better than empty as glass meets brick. I wish it could have been different in the house we built. Guess I was just house sitting. House sitting. House sitting. Hey, I heard you're dating her. She's ready to settle down, and I couldn't be what you needed. I'm too busy being jaded.